Glad to have you here, Rod.
I'm Nimrod Chappell, president of the Missouri State Conference of the NAACP. It's good to be with you today. Proud to be with you today. To stand with people who in Missouri, just like across this great nation, believe in equality and justice. There's something that I want to start out with, though, and it's real easy. I'm going to say let them. Can I hear somebody say out?
Out.
Let them.
Out.
Let them.
Out.
Let them.
Out.
Let them.
Out.
This is an old story. It goes back to Mississippi. It goes back to the South, and even though Missouri fancies itself as being a state in the North, it was part of the Missouri Compromise. One that suborned, one that tried to hide the true essence of its prejudice. Now, the NAACP called it out when we said that there is a national travel advisory in Missouri right now.
Yeah.
Started in 2017 when they legalized individual discrimination. That ain't right. You can't take your case and go to court where somebody actually knows your name. You can't go to that building and actually try to use what we usually think of as being our citizenship power to get something else done. Because we don't have enough money, we don't have enough power. And so here we are, juxed in between, literally, begging for justice on behalf of two men, Lamar Johnson and Kevin Strickland. Now, it's not a question on whether or not they're innocent. There's no question on whether or not they should be there. The only question that we have is, how is it that Missouri still allows people to pay for testimony?
Yeah.
Imagine this, if you were in a car wreck and somebody paid a witness to come and testify, what would that look like to you?
Bribery.
That's why these brothers are in jail right now. This is some more of that Jim Crow justice. We need to get a law that says that you can't do that. That it's not going to be tolerated. Because this is what happens. And these are only two people that are sitting in prison right now when it shouldn't be that way. Now, back in Mississippi, back in 1963, on the 16th Street Baptist Church, there was a bombing. Now, it wasn't until 1974...
Chris Dunn is the third, for anybody watching that doesn't know. Chris Dunn is our
there was
third.
a dynamite bomb that one of the bombers was brought to justice. The rest of them didn't come to justice until 2002 and 2001. One escaped any kind of prosecution. That's the kind of justice system that we're dealing with here in Missouri. The families of that little girl, Carolyn Robertson, who was just a little 14-year-old girl. She loved to sing and dance, and she was part of Jack and Jill and Girl Scouts. She had a lot to live for. Her family certainly loved her. They deserve justice. There are families right now in Missouri that are being ignored by Republican politicians because they can't see them. They're too busy looking at people like Kevin Strickland, like Lamar Johnson, who they want to keep in jail for crimes they didn't commit to Assange or to
So the Star and the Times are the only two real press we have out here, so thank them for coming.
Those folks need to be brought to justice. That needs to happen. On the same token, when we look at people down in Mississippi County like Tory Sanders, who died just like George Floyd with the sheriff's knee on the back of his neck. They took their cameras off, though, so we'll never see the video footage. His family, Mrs. Sanders, his kids, and the people in relationship with him and his life are still looking for justice. Can't find that and can't let these gentlemen out. I'm saying right now that we need to bring in some federal officials to ask what is happening in Missouri. We look at the case of Durante Martin. We're right down there in Madison County, Missouri. They tried to act like it was some kind of a suicide. He was beaten black and blue. Shot with a single round in the head, and they want to roll it as suicide. At a party. None of the stories match. We can't get justice here, and it's what we pay for. We're sick and tired of this, and what we don't recognize is that there's more than just these two individuals that are at risk. Our very democracy is at risk. Because what happens when people refuse to believe in the power of the court system to uphold the law? What happens when we decide that we will not have a king who decides who's going to be free and who's not? Letting loose the Hamburglar in St. Louis. I don't understand it. What happens when we no longer believe in democracy? This is not a black issue. This is not a white issue. This is an American issue. And if we expect for this democracy to stand any longer, we have to put some meaning behind the words justice and equality. Let them
out!
Let them
out!
Let them
out!
God bless you.
Amen.
Larry Smith.
Hi everyone, how y'all doing?
Good.